to separate them.
What is
nope,
wrong
WoW
with
had
these
to be its own
people,
thing,
bro?
Its own big thing. Just for some reason.
I gotta bring the
Although
average
for
down.
content creators
Bro.
ranked old school.
There's no bias here. None. There's no bias on this list. I just say it how it is. Oh God, this is such a good video. I was waiting for this. Okay, so the best MMOs to play as decided by the experts. I was chosen as one of the experts. Shamelessly. This is SawmanUK, the guy that the BDO community chewed up and spit out over making a review video on Black Desert Online after he played for 24 minutes.
What is the best MMO ever created? A question which for many years now has been debated by balding middle-aged men across the world.
True.
And in today's video, I'm going to finally tell you which MMO is the best. And you're probably wondering, who am I to settle this debate? What?
Bro, man, we didn't even make the photo.
And you're probably wondering,
bro, dude, we didn't even make the photo.
Who am I to settle this debate? What knowledge do I have which makes me the expert on this subject matter? Which is exactly why I have scoured the depths of the YouTube algorithm to find some of the most relevant and knowledgeable content creators who will finally put this dispute to rest. Unfortunately,
there's no way we put Ashes of Creation on the list, right?
Josh Drive Hayes was busy, and Mitch Mannix
collab with Sawman. I'd rather saw off my balls.
Oh my God!
So who are these brave souls who are willing to take on such a feat? Well, we have Idol. He likes to yap about MMORPGs and talks about RuneScape a lot.
Oh my God, bro. RuneScape,
Nice gaming, an expert on a game that quite literally doesn't exist. Redbeard Flynn. Just don't ask him about EverQuest because he won't shut up. If there was a vote for MMO content creator most likely to go to prison, it would indeed be Rose.
That guy just DM'd me. Wait, what? Wait, this guy literally just DM'd me for the first time. Wait, what? Rose MMO. That's him, right? Like, oh God.
For MMO content creator most likely to go to prison, it would indeed be Rose. Another professional RuneScape yapper, Waydock.
I just watched your latest YouTube video, bro. We love you, man. Thanks,
TV.
Maxton.
His trigger words are Kickstarter and early access. And lastly, professional bald shouty man, Blue Squadron. He spoke to Asmongold once. Now that everyone has
I hate that that was my introduction. Look how stupid I look compared to the other content creators. This guy didn't even turn his lights on. This guy's got his cat on the screen. They're just sitting there. This guy apparently belongs in prison, according to Sawman. This guy's not even at the computer. And here's me. I look like I'm on cocaine.
man, Blue Squadron. He spoke to Asmongold once. Now that everyone has been introduced to each other, let's see if we can use these experts to figure out which MMO is the best. Let's begin.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and guess that BDO was put into... I put BDO in the S tier. I'm hoping it ends up in B, but let's be realistic about where the game's at currently.
Wait, you don't take drugs?
Not on stream.
New World.
The graph. Oh no, he's using Steam charts. Oh no.
Where would I put New World on the tier list?
New World's a weird one. Are we talking about New World how it is as a Turnum, or New World how it was when it was an MMORPG?
Okay.
Bro, you gotta turn his lights on.
That is quite the controversial one.
I don't see an X tier in your tier list.
Are we talking about the ARPG or the
Base
MMORPG?
bald man. Oh, right. Well, actually, actually, that doesn't even qualify as an MMO anymore.
So when I first played New World, I loved it. I thought it was like...
That's classic Blue Squadron. Ask me a straight up question and I'm too busy doing my bit.
It was one of the first like new MMOs that I actually tried on my channel. And it was one of my favorite games. I didn't actually play New World when it first came out. I played it probably 6 months later. But I recently came back to New World with the Eternum update, and not a fan.
I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I like the combat. I know people see it and they say 6 act.
Oh no, he's... Oh no.
Skills and, you know, oh, I hate the combat. I think New World has some of the most fun action combat that you can get in an MMO.
Stop. You listen to yourself. Listen to yourself speak. Like I
Pull up
I
is
don't know.
BDO the Florida of MMOs?
No one wants to be us. If I can think of a game that has worse combat than New World, and like that's the biggest gripe that I have with the game, and that's why I never got like crazy into it.
New World is probably my favorite combat I've had in an MMO because it's literally meant to be an action RPG, as they've said now, which they definitely didn't just change their mind on.
I feel like there's actual skill involved, like when I'm doing a duel or, you know, when it comes to combat, which
what the f are we talking about? Look at the combat, man.
Said something that you don't get a lot in a lot of MMOs or whatever. I think it's really underrated in that sense.
He's just auto-attacking.
Now, is the game overall good? That's not what I'm saying. Like, am I saying the devs are good, or have they been handling it well? Hell to the no.
Was a game that did a lot of things really well and a lot of things terribly. Specifically, the technology was bad, but the sense of scale and everything in the world, they really, if they leaned into it, could have done so much, and it was a game that had really huge potential.
A simple basic fact about this is if you are in a state where you've launched your MMO, you failed to launch it correctly, you reused assets like you had every single mob just being a copy paste of a skeleton everywhere else, you screwed up so badly that you had to relaunch onto console to try and fix your problems and pretend like everything's going to be fine. That's never a good place to be.
They don't even want to be called an MMO anymore. I mean, they asked to sponsor me on their thing, and I was like, they called it like a co-op RPG, and I was like, well, when I advertise it, do you want me to call it a co-op RPG, or do you want me to call it an MMO? Because like, you know, it's traditionally an MMO, and they were like, no, we want you to say co-op RPG. I was like, okay.
And I just didn't feel like there was much to do. They didn't really add any new areas or much.
I don't know. I've gotten some really good feedback about Eternum lately. I've gotten a fair amount of people that have said, you need to try New World Eternum. It's actually really good. And then there's a fair amount of people that tell me, don't do it. It's just like slamming your penis into a car door. So I really don't know where to land on it.
To the game, despite the fact that it's now cross-platform. What else is
man,
there? And one of the biggest complaints about New World is that the end game was lacking in content.
It's not as bad as people think it is, but it's not really good either. It found an identity 3 years after launch, so it's one of those, I think it's an MMO that kicked itself in the foot. It could have been better than it is, but it also lacks a lot of inspiration. It feels very bland in a lot of ways.
My issue with New World comes with it wants to be so much. Like it's so clear from the moment it came out how it wanted to do everything. Like it wanted to be the MMO
You can
that
slap
had
your penis and enjoy it. If you are a
about the game was an
masochist.
afterthought, to be honest.
You need Jesus. But he does make an excellent point.
It was half baked with just like a few really well done things. The world, the graphics, the audio, the interface, the pop-ups and everything. the trading, the fact that you could play with other players and feel like an MMO. It did so many things right, and then just had no content to back any of it up.
I assume it wanted an end game, although it never really figured that part out. It
Why are all of us bald?
wanted progression to be like endless, with almost too many progression mechanics, from like your region reputation to your gathering skills, your combat skills, your guild reputation, or what is it called, companies in New World. I feel like with that game they had a classic issue, which I think a lot of new MMOs have, which is trying to master everything, and you end up spreading yourself so thin that it makes the gameplay thin.
I came back recently, very recently. I logged in for about 2 hours. I felt so confused, and I felt like I didn't know what the point of me playing the game was, so I actually logged off in like 2 hours. I was going to make a whole video on it.
He could be talking about BDO right now. If there was no context, you know what I mean? Like, bro, it's the same shit.
Yeah, turn him update, but I just felt like there wasn't enough there, so.
It doesn't have a subscription fee. It doesn't have like any crazily overly pay to win stuff in their shop. I don't like the battle pass, but I wouldn't call it fair, but I wouldn't call it like atrocious either.
But if I was going to choose an MMO to play for a while in a very casual way, and I didn't really care that much, and I was a guy with 5 kids and 2 wives, then yeah, New World will keep you busy for a few hours a day without like feeling like some ultra sweaty monster is going to destroy you every second of every day. Although the new auto lock feature does fix that for casual players.
The verdict? Yeah,
I'd probably put this as a C tier. It should have been like an A tier, but it just had no content.
So overall, you're going to say it's F tier?
Yeah, it's F.
Like, would C just be like, it's fine?
Some might say that way, yeah.
Okay, I'll put it in C because it's fine.
Bro, I was so. Wait, what did he say?
It's fine.
It's fine.
They kind of abandoned their whole PC player base this last year.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to give them. Should I give it an F? Nah, that'll be me. Let's give it a D. Let's give it a D.
Oh, come on.
I'm sticking with my answer. I'm gonna go a C.
It's a C. It's a good enough time. It just gets old real fast, and there's nothing more that it offers. But you can have a good time with it. You could probably have $40 of a good time with it. So I put it at C.
Or New World.
Or you could buy BDO for $1.
Probably
right?
D tier. Needs more endgame, needs more content, needs a higher server population size. It's got
Throne and Liberty's free.
All the fundamentals it requires to be a good action combat MMO, but with none of the execution behind it.
Okay.
And they keep on doing weird and stupid things like reworking the content that's fine instead of just making.
With $40, I'd rather go to McDonald's. Why in the is your McDonald's order $40? You're a hippo.
New content, especially for the end game.
So in order to work out the total score for each MMO, I've added a number value to each tier, and from that, I'm going to work out the average. So the highest rank being a C and the lowest rank being an F, it should come as no surprise that overall, New World is seen as a
D tier MMO.
Surely it can't get any worse from here.
I love how I single-handedly pulled it down, basically. There's me. Oh God.
Is seen as a D tier MMO.
Yep.
Surely it can't get any worse from here. Let's move on to the next MMO.
Retail or classic?
Are we differentiating between classic and retail?
Wait, classic, or do we mean retail?
I think you have to split World of Warcraft into 2 tiers, one for classic and one for retail.
Why does everyone keep asking that?
It's a big question. That's important.
I'm just gonna say both. Everyone keeps asking me this, but I see what WoW is like.
Can't be both. Can't be both.
It can't
They're so
be
different.
both.
They're different games.
Bro.
I refuse to judge both like that. That's nonsense.
Guys, you have to make a decision
refuse.
here.
You're gonna need to tell me one. Just pick one right now. Retail. Fine, we'll do retail. Telling me to judge them both as one is crazy, man.
Because Classic is undoubtedly better in every way, shape. Okay, no. Because I would have a different ranking for both of them.
And both are S tier. And I think anyone who doesn't think World of Warcraft is an S tier MMO is just, they're just lying to themselves, or they're just hating, because World of Warcraft is...
I lie to myself all the time.
It transcended MMOs, full stop. It transcended the genre.
The MMO that changed MMOs for better or worse, depending on who you ask, and probably worse for most.
Valen, only WoW players say they are two different games. True. I have to play hardcore WoW for the first time this coming month. Valen, are you the same Valen we just saw the Guild Wars 2 drama about? That shit's crazy. You guys have so much trauma, it's insane. It's wild.
People.
So I think I'm gonna have a much different take on World of Warcraft
That was
from
an
anyone
iceberg
else
of
in this
drama.
video. I am a very unique individual in that I'm just now in my life starting World of Warcraft within the last 2
Same.
months. New player, jaded, I know.
And I'm going to be playing a lot more of this in this coming month because I'm doing OnlyFans.
That's me.
I've only actually played to level 20 to get the Liadrin skin, and I basically just ran and killed the same mob over and over
Hearthstone.
again, and then a giraffe farmed me in a field for like 20 minutes, and I gave up.
It has
Bro.
the hands down the best group dungeon content, probably out of any MMO currently, with Mythic Plus and its rating.
Good ideas, outdated execution. It's still got a massive player base. It's still got people who love playing it.
Oh, you're gonna get some hate if you include this part. I started World of Warcraft Classic. I uninstalled after about 8 hours. Got a refund, so there's that. I tried retail and the combat was a lot better. And before I go forward, before there's a hate campaign for me, I'm not saying retail is better than Classic.
Classic, like the original game and what it was at the beginning and the first few expansions, there was nothing like it. There'll again probably never be anything like it. Even going back and playing it now, it's not just nostalgia, it's just a fantastically designed game. The world's great, the lore's great. It's one of the only MMOs I'll care about the lore.
And what World of Warcraft I think has always had going for it is its world of Warcraft. It's a really immersive world, and I think they're leaning into that really well. And I think a lot of other MMOs can kind of fall flat in their world and in their storytelling, and I know World of Warcraft has a little bit.
But I mean, it's the biggest MMO for a reason. I played a lot of it, like probably way too much of it.
Are you
I'm about to get turboed here.
a classic Andy or retail Andy?
Neither. I played, so when I played was around Wrath of the Lich King, but I don't necessarily want to go back to that.
Retail, the only thing that matters is the last expansion. Classic, the only thing that matters is how many mods you can put on the game to make it more interesting, like them stealing hardcore or Season of Discovery and stuff like that.
I actually think that WoW and Blizzard do an exceptional job at lore, and like their trailers and stuff are really good.
All kings must die, my son.
And I think that their
That
storyline,
shit
at least the starting
tears
storyline,
me up every time.
the cinematics and everything that I've seen is exceptionally good.
The new expansions that are coming out have a sort of, what would you say? They're sort of a callback to the past. They're rectifying a lot of the mistakes that they've made in the past. I think Shadowlands was really the last time where the entire player base was like, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't like this. And it sounds like ever since then they've started to at least listen a little bit more. That's in terms of retail.
I had a decently fun leveling experience. I think World of Warcraft has the best questing. I haven't even seen a fraction of it. I mean, come on, I'm like 20. I'm 2 decades late to this MMO, right? So there's a lot of quests I haven't seen.
Questing.
But I used the timeline system and all that, and the story, it was just immersive, dude.
For retail,
I do, man.
the game's had a bunch of problems. The game still has problems now. I still play it. As soon as we finish this, I'll be going back on World of Warcraft to play the war within. It's way different. It's designed for you to basically log on, do something real quick, log out, and really easy to play with friends. The combat is the smoothest combat in any MMO, full stop. Like, it's tab top.
That's crazy. Let's run that statement back one more time.
Real quick log out, and really easy to play with friends. The combat is the smoothest combat in any MMO.
Okay. That is a statement, right? That's a statement for Tab Target. That would have been a fair statement, right? But like, we have Lost Ark on the table. We got BDO on the table. And honestly, those are the two I think that kind of beat it. Like, if you're talking about like action, it's really hard to compare it to action combat. But if you compare it to the other Tab Targets, Guild Wars 2 is exceptional. I've only played a little Guild Wars 2. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. As we dive into that, little nuggy. But like, the combat that I have done in Guild Wars has been exceptionally smooth. Very, very smooth.
Full stop. Like, it's
the movement's really good. The skills look good.
Monetization.
And Guild Wars 2 has, I would say Guild Wars 2 by comparison probably has better combat because the PvP is better. That's why everybody loves World versus World.
Everything went to shit after they added the WoW token, and they like to pretend it fixed bots and all these other problems. It didn't. A lot of the community, because they don't look into this, they don't like spend hours of their life like I do, looking at like bots, numbers, data behind it and all of that stuff. They think that the game's fine, but it's not when it comes to that. So monetization wise, I'd say it's worse than New World. And I'd say they get away with it because people are just locked either in nostalgia or pretending that it doesn't exist.
We no longer have a true MMO that's not in some way pay to win, I think. The WoW token is pay to win.
I haven't seen any pay to win in Guild Wars 2 yet. I haven't seen any pay to win in Guild Wars 2. And from my understanding of the community, there is no pay to win in Guild Wars 2. When we watched that drama shit the other day, one of the creators said that there was because there are sites where you can RMT and like get shit, somehow the game was pay to win. Valen, maybe it was you, but like I don't know. I don't think it was you. I don't remember fully though. There were a lot of creators I went through in those videos. I was just watching it as a third party. That being said, I haven't seen any pay to win yet. The Guild Wars 2 community in my chat at the time told me that there was no pay to win. So,
but it's one of those things you just got to kind of deal with it.
Yeah, third party websites that do RMT stuff is not pay to win. Systems in the game where you can buy it out of the in-game shop, that's like pay to win stuff.
I guess.
You can argue WoW is pay to win, and you can make the argument very easily. You can make the argument for pretty much.
I'm not saying there's not pay to win in Guild Wars 2, but what I've experienced so far, there's
any MMO. I think the only one that doesn't is maybe Final Fantasy 14 and Iron Man Old School RuneScape. Aside from that,
what do you mean, guys? BDO's not pay to win, right?
They ask you to pay money at every step of the way.
No pay to win there.
You pay for the expansions, you pay for a subscription fee, you can buy in-game gold with the WoW token. Obviously, you can use that for other services as well.
I think being able to essentially pay for gold is gross. Coming from, I don't want to say too much about RuneScape, but RuneScape has bonds, which is the same thing. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I especially resent the fact that when Wrath of the Lich King Classic came out, they put it into Wrath of the Lich King Classic when one of the big things about Classic, not only era, but as they re-release expansions, was the fact that it was from a time before microtransactions.
What are they going to do with Classic WoW? What the f*** are they going to do with that game? Because it's going to catch up to retail.
With the WoW token, I just don't give a it just makes no difference to how I experience the game whatsoever. The people will say, oh, you can buy the best gear, but the best gear is useless unless you're doing the best content, which is where you'd get the best gear. So it's kind of like, it doesn't do anything for you.
Blizzard is just the new EA.
It's no secret that Blizzard's a toxic environment, and I don't think that's changed since they got acquired by Microsoft. Blizzard's best interest will never be making
least pay to win is probably
game.
Final Fantasy 14. I would hope so. Because there's still pay to win in that game because you can pay to undress your character. Like you play the game better. At the end game, is better because you're not wearing any clothing. You know, like RPing with clothes on, it just takes the magic away.
Will never be what is in their best interest. Their best interest is making the game that is the most monetizable. That should be making the best game. You would think it's making the best game, but there's better ways to make money. There's been evidence of that.
What the
best game? You would think it's making the best game, but there's better ways to make.
Is that a mount skin? $90? Huh? What for that? Bro, y'all just throwing it away, bro. Y'all just started, and the funny thing is, I bet so many people bought it. It's like the Ari skin for League of Legends. They're like, well, next time we're gonna release $1,000 skin. Where does it stop? You know,
make money. There's been evidence of that.
And I can see that trying to fix their issues. They're trying to fix their problems. But someone who's worked as a project manager, who's seen the inside of businesses like this, whatever you're hearing reported on the surface is maybe 10% of what's actually going on in the company.
And a bit of a curveball. Any thoughts on the Cosby suite?
I'm sorry now?
The Bill Cosby suite?
Blizzard's Bill Cosby suite at BlizzCon is worse than you thought. What the hell happened at this suite?
I'm gonna need
Wait, why? Wasn't there a bunch of controversy?
You want to know how much WoW make out of a skin? Look at this URL.
Wasn't there a bunch of controversy with
Yeah, here's
Bill
the
Cosby?
biggest sadness, dude. I worked...
Oh, I've seen this before. Yeah, I've upvoted it. Yeah, I've seen this before. And the funny thing is, StarCraft 2, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm Master League in StarCraft 2. I have been for a long time. I love this shit.
2 years of overtime straight on StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty. StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty made less money than the horse, the first Sparkle Pony horse in World of Warcraft. A $15 microtransaction horse made more money than StarCraft 2.
And it was called Sparkle Pony? God, bro. It's so rough, dude. It's so rough. StarCraft 2 was peak, dude.
Context. Why is there a Bill Cosby suite?
Oh, so it's this prolific thing which went on at Blizzard, along with like drinking women's breast milk and stuff like that. At one of the conventions, they'd always hire out a room, and they had a picture of Bill Cosby in there with there's known as the Cosby Suite. Judged by your reaction, you know nothing of it.
So, like, personally, I feel like World of Warcraft isn't that good of a game.
Yep.
The game's just, it's an S tier, like 100%. Like, no, you can't really put that game anywhere else. And I played this game forever. Like, I played it since the original game came out, a couple days into release. I come back for every expansion, come back for most patches in each expansion. And aside from a couple really bad spots like Shadowlands, the game's just strength to strength for what it's trying to do now.
You know, after shitting on it that much, I'd probably say it's B tier.
I'm not going to be like super controversial just for controversy's sake. I'm just going to put it in A tier. I don't think it is an S tier MMO.
Based, dude. I thought I was going to get run down for this.
Just because, even though it's a formula that's been copied over and over again, they haven't stuck to their own formula. They have, over 20 years, been unable to stick to what they were doing.
Blinded by nostalgia. Yeah, there it is.
You have now split your player base to such a degree that you have created an entirely different game. And you also have a ton of ups and downs. So it's an A tier MMO. Yeah.
I gotta put it S tier.
Wow.
The fuck,
I gotta
bro?
put it S tier.
Get out.
Wait, take two. I gotta put it A tier.
Okay.
Only because of the breast milk. Yeah, only because of the breast milk thing that I just learned about. They can't be S tier now.
So we're saying WoW is A tier, yeah?
Yeah, A tier overall. If I could rank them differently, I'd probably put retail in B tier and a classic in S tier. But if I mix the two, we'll go A tier.
I think the recent expansion and classic together make for such a genuinely good experience that I would put World of Warcraft as a whole at A.
I put it in B.
I would put classic at S. I would put it in retail at B. But I'll average them out to an A.
And then the combat is also just like total ass. Because you're comparing it to BDO, comparing it to action combat systems. I'm gonna give World of Warcraft, and this people are gonna flame me on that. I'm putting it in the B tier.
So as controversial as it is ranking World of Warcraft as one whole game instead.
Bro, this guy just DM'd me this guy literally just DM'd me. Never spoken to him before. Pretty sure I think he's a Guild Wars 2 content creator. Because I'm pretty sure I talked about Rose he was one of the creators I covered the other night. I don't know what he said yet. I haven't looked at it. It's in my message request. But it looks like we're gonna get along. That's at least based on this.
They have 2 separate games. I know, go figure. We have a average ranking of A. Let's move on to round 3.
Okay, I'm gonna shit all over this game.
So I know you love Elder Scrolls Online.
This shit's about to eat.
It's unironically one of my favorite MMOs of all time.
That's crazy.
Dude, it's tough.
That's insane.
This is probably the MMO that's like, in terms of its size,
I put BDO in the S tier.
I know the least
I was trying to average it out because they were going to tell us shit.
If not my favorite MMOs of all time. Really good game. Really good game.
All right, that's what we need to know. Move on, next game.
Oh man, Cash Shop Online. What a game.
Cash Shop Online.
95% of that game I haven't played because I haven't opened the Cash Shop.
Oh no. Oh geez, Elder Scrolls Online. So I made a video that said 10 years is too much trying for Elder Scrolls or something like that. I forgot the name. That everyone got mad at me for, so that's cool.
The Elder Scrolls Online doesn't really appeal to me because I think just the way I view the world of the Elder Scrolls isn't through an MMO lens, and I don't know why that is for me. Every time I think about exploring that world as an MMO,
yeah, dude, if you compare it to Elden Ring, to like Skyrim. If you compare it to Skyrim, what am I fucking Elden Ring? Skyrim was like, I loved Skyrim, but like it was cutting edge at the time, and it was just like absolutely wild. You know, the game, like running through the game, cutting edge graphics and everything, 16 times the details. Okay, it's not Fallout 76, shut up. But like, I really liked Skyrim, but Elder Scrolls really didn't grip me in the same way because it just kind of felt worse than Skyrim was.
Does not strike me as something I want to do.
Skyrim was the worst Elder Scrolls ever released. Huh. Because I thought that ESO was the worst Elder Scrolls ever released.
I think the Elder Scrolls Online is a good game. I think especially if you are just looking to PvE, if you're looking for a game, I always say I envy anyone that's starting the Elder Scrolls Online today because there is an infinite amount of overland content, so many zones.
The soundtrack for Elder Scrolls is crazy bussin' though.
Things to do, so many dungeons, trials, quests. Like,
so ESO's redeeming quality is that the storyline is really good, and then the combat. People pretend that the combat is good because it's like action combat, but it's actually just ass. So yeah, and then the graphics look kind of dated in ESO. So,
you know, a lot of people complain about the combat system in ESO, and I don't think it's that bad. Like, I feel like it's just the popular reason to dislike ESO. Everyone says, "Oh,
wasn't this the guy that said New World had the best combat?" Yeah, that's the bar.
Oh, the combat's so boring. The combat sucks. I kind of enjoy the combat. It's a little click intensive, like you're switching between your weapons a lot, but I find the open world to be really immersive. I like the questing, I like the stories, I like the collection. I like the horizontal progression that the game has. I wish they had a bit more in terms of like end game content.
I don't have a lot of experience with the game, and the reason I don't have a lot of experience with the game is because the initial introduction to Elder Scrolls Online is exactly what's wrong with almost every modern MMO, and that is there's no inherent difficulty or challenge in the introduction to the game.
Like, probably the biggest issue for me is the one Tamriel update, which was like a year 2 years after launch. It wasn't very long after, which basically made the world into like there's no adventure anymore. Everything is the same. Depends, like, yeah, there's a lot of freedom, but there's no progression. There's no point in going from one zone to the next.
But again, it kind of falls into that they stopped caring about developing the game and they started caring about making as much.
Oh, right. This is the guy that was like arguing with Valen. Yeah.
Money as possible. So most of their resources are into how do we milk those little gamer nipples off of, you know, everyone playing the game.
And for me, the combat in Elder Scrolls Online is terrible. I just can't get over like how floaty the game feels. I can't get over how I basically am expected to either go out of my way to find something that's not.
He did the BDO Fat video. That's right. He did do that. And he's a legend.
Apparent by finding it on Google, or to just kind of like sit and do mind-numbing, boring content when I don't particularly care about story, to then get to like the late game. It's just not my cup of tea. It's also one of those games that's monetized to fuck. So it's kind of like in your face as soon as you start. You're like, oh, my inventory space, and I need this bag, and I need this thing, and there's like a million things in the cash shop, and there's loot boxes, and
you feel absolutely compelled to buy ESO Plus due to the crafting bag. That bothers me.
It feels like an optional subscription, but it's not an optional subscription. It is a subscription that you really need. They have fine-tuned the FOMO of a subscription in an optional subscription model. You'll get a lot of stuff for free, but it's in a sense pushing you into paying that subscription. I would rather, like, it'd almost be better if it was just not optional, just make it mandatory in my sense, and then tone down the store, because the store is a bit much.
I'm not saying the overland content is good, because I mean, one of my complaints is that it just frankly is not. Doesn't seem challenging at all. A lot of the NPCs just like seem to like light attack every couple of seconds. You don't really feel threatened ever, so it's not really enjoyable. Now, the Elder Scrolls Online has some hard content, but that's not the Overland content. You got to go to a hard mode trial. You got to do a dungeon, whatever the case may be, right? But the Overland content is just not engaging at all. I never feel a sense of progression or a challenge on my character.
Balancing could be a little bit better, but I did have fun in Cyrodiil. I love that like open world, kind of world versus world interaction in terms of PvP. So,
like, if you're looking for a solo player MMO, Elder Scrolls Online, I'll recommend to you all day.
I liked
Fucking
PvP.
true.
Before max level. Once you got to max level, PvP was atrocious, and I hated it because it was just like you got one shot, and then you looked at like the combat log and it's like, oh, like they killed me 7 times with one attack.
They would introduce an entire zone full of delves, dungeons, trials, story, and I'm talking huge, massive pieces of land, right? Like a lot of content, a whole world's worth of content, right? And they couldn't give you a battleground map for years. They wouldn't update Cyrodiil for years. Like, it's actually
Sounds like BDO, to be honest. Sounds just like BDO. Things people ask for, they just don't want to listen to feedback.
Crazy. Even PvE players that would never touch PvP, they were looking on the outside, you know, like, damn, why do you still play this? Like, they hate you guys. I'm fine. I'm going to stay here, but you guys, the hell y'all still doing playing this game?
Man, what did I put New World at? C? It's got to be above New World, because I feel like I hear it talked about much better than New World.
It is above New World.
It's a polished game, so you can't put it in like an F tier.
Polished?
But I'd say it's like a C tier game for me.
Yeah,
it's not.
C to D.
I don't have a high opinion of that game at all.
But is it a B? I don't know. I don't know enough about the game.
A B tier.
That's what I said.
MMO, largely because of its visuals, its story, its acting.
No one gives a shit about story,
It
though.
would be an A tier if not for one Tamriel monetization.
Plus it's WoW.
The need and focus on builds and like set bonuses and stuff like that.
I don't know enough about the game to say that it's a B.
I'll give the Elder Scrolls Online because I do enjoy the combat, and I do think it has really good PvE for the, you know, if you're into that, and a lot of content. Let's give her.
It's a solid MMO. I can see it as a main MMO for someone, but it's not the best at anything. Well said. D tier. I'm just kidding. C. I think I put it in
Let's
C.
give it a B. As much as I complain about it, let's give it a B. I really like that
I
game.
prefaced
It's
it and said
it's my
I've
favorite
not
MMO.
spent
I
almost
just don't
any
think
time in it.
the way they treat the
I just
PvP
cover
player
content
base
for the game.
should put them in a tier above that.
I'm putting it in the C tier. Yeah, I'm putting it in the C tier. I'll put C for crap. Okay.
I'll put it in upper C. Put it above New World, and that's
Hey, I'm
before
just
anyone gets
honest,
mad.
bro.
That's just my
I'm
lack
just
of information.
I think I'll go B tier for ESO. I'm a little bit biased. I really enjoy playing the game. There's like all kinds of negative things I can point out about it, but at the end of the day, I have a lot of fun playing it. So B tier.
All in all, a very vanilla rating
Bro.
for the Elder Scrolls Online, which actually
I'm stunned that I am literally like right in line. I'm on like the lower end, but I'm like right in line with the other people.
gives it an average of C tier, which, in my personal opinion, might be a little bit too high.
He hates that game.
Fuck. Okay, that's the MMO that I'm terrified of.
It's gonna be controversial, man. It's gonna be controversial.
Final
I don't
Fantasy.
like it. I don't like that game.
Wait, really?
Okay, I'm gonna get myself cancelled like Lazy Peon on this one.
Why are people scared of this one?
I don't like having sex with people in game on the internet. So I don't like this game as much as some of the other people that like MMOs. True.
So I might have a bit of an
True.
interesting take on this one because people always ask me, wait, why haven't you reviewed Final Fantasy 14?
I know better than to disrespect it. I think we need another tier for Final Fantasy 14. I'd say S plus actually. S plus, really good game. Really good game.
I'm scared of going near that MMO because it's like an infinite amount of story, and I don't know if it's good or not.
It's got like the best story, right? Like the MMO that failed went back into development for 3 years and then like relaunched. Like that's kind of just like that's just gonna always be an amazing story.
Final Fantasy 14, I've played a good amount of. It's just fun enough.
Really, are the main creators jumping ship for Final Fantasy? That's kind of happening for BDR right now. That shit's crazy. But like Final Fantasy only has one expansion like every 2 years, right? I feel like nobody plays it until the expansion comes out, and then everyone plays it.
The story doesn't hit for me, and that's the biggest part of the game.
I see,
like
Valen.
whenever people talk about what they love about Final Fantasy 14, it almost always comes down to story.
What pisses me off about Final Fantasy is every time everyone's like, the story is so good after the first 60 hours. I'm like, 60 what? 60 hours? You want to play 60 hours of doing mindless quests to get to anything good?
I mean, it's a great game. It's just not an MMORPG for 99.9% of the game. And you can argue most MMOs are not nowadays. But Final Fantasy 14 is first and foremost a game.
Yeah, the reason I chose Guild Wars 2 when I wanted to start another MMO is because they were like, I was like, how long before you get to max level in Guild Wars 2? They were like, it's about like 40 hours or so. And then you're at the end game content, basically. Or you're able to like hit max level and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, well, that's reasonable.
RPG. And then it's an MMO much, much later and much, much secondary.
That game is an RP player's wet dream. Like
literally wet dream.
And in some cases, that's actual literally.
And it's crazy because Final Fantasy as a series is one of my favorite video games of all time. Final Fantasy X is easily in my top 5. But Final Fantasy 14 as an MMO is just a very big undertaking if you want to do a good review of the game.
People keep telling me to play through it. What keeps holding me back is you just have to get past the first 60 hours of the main story, Blue, and then you can do it, right? And then it's gonna get. I'm nothing if not consistent. Good, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to play for 60 hours and then the game gets good.
Dude, the combat is fine. The combat is like it's very standard MMO tab target combat. Which feels good. That's the most I can say about the combat. Like it feels smooth.
And I'm gonna be just completely honest here. I
don't like the stories in either Final Fantasy 14 or Lost Ark. Officer, that's your man. Get him, boys. That dude's gonna get stabbed with a pitchfork tonight.
do not play MMOs for the story ever.
The quests are boring, man. the quests are boring. It's probably one of the worst questing systems I've seen in an MMO, and that's saying something because I played a lot of World of Warcraft Classic.
There goes his account.
Really boring.
I haven't played enough of it kind of takes so far, say it's A tier, but I might be having my opinion altered and manipulated by the fact that there's bunny girls in that game. That shit's hot.
I think when I think of like the chosen one syndrome of MMOs, Final Fantasy XIV is top of mind for me.
Do I need to play the bunny character?
You're the chosen one and everyone else is as well. But that is what the game is. It almost feels like an RPG first and an MMO second.
When I'm playing a video game, I want loot, I want to do big damage, and I want to top a DPS meter and mostly loot. That's why I play video games. And so I feel like Final Fantasy XIV has this huge focus on this.
Yo, I'm Tim, by the way. Welcome back, man. 4 months. Appreciate you. Almost at the 6-month badge. I really appreciate you, buddy.
Story, and I don't know if
bunny girls are the best girls. I just like girls. What happened to normal corn, guys? Like, what the happened to just watching a normal woman having sex with really anything? Never mind, I guess.
I'm gonna love that.
Oh, and you know what is actually really nice, and this should not go unnoticed about some of these MMOs, is just how active it is. Like, it's hard to go anywhere in Final Fantasy XIV and not see other people, and like there is a lot of built-in interaction.
Well, hentai, if you're feeling it, but
in that game.
As far as immersive roleplay, it's really good, and I think they have some difficult PvE.
Never checked Playboy. Playboy fell off.
Content is what I know about that game.
If I want to be told a story, I'll play a story game, one that respects my time and doesn't want me to pay a subscription. And that's not to say Final Fantasy XIV is made in a way to try and pad things out to keep your subscription. But to me, it feels like it is, because I can go and read a book and the book tells me a story.
My chat is unhinged. As someone who has played it, it has garbage combat and the story is dog shit for the first 60 hours, and then it continues being dog shit for another 500 hours. However, there's good player housing, you can gamble and run in casinos, and there's cat girl hookers. S tier. Exclamation point Jesus. Ask for Deborah.
Story without any around.
Final Fantasy XIV is a game you could play a lot on your own, though. Like, there are certain parts that you need a group for, so it's like, it's not really like the game that needs the most interaction, but it is nice that you go around to cities and stuff, and there's tons of people, and there's like I've talked to a lot of people in the game just because I'm kind of a psychopath in MMOs where I talk in public chat all the time. But it's just a game that I've really struggled with.
I actually really enjoy. I like tab target combat, so the combat was fun for me. It was kind of what I'm used to. The PvP was awful. Like, the PvP was really bad. So that part of it sucked. Like, that was how it compares favorably to WoW. And then I played the PvP and I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Just text on a screen. It's a lot of characters poorly animated, like turning around and walking, and you just start looking at it, and it's like 10 seconds between one character saying something and another character saying something, then the other one turns around, and then you have to go do a very small task, and then you come back and it's the same thing.
I'm fairly certain that there's like
if I play Final Fantasy XIV, this is my fear, guys. If I play Final Fantasy XIV, like seriously, and I finish the whole main story, and I get to the end of the 60 hours, and then I play for another 200 hours, and it's still dog shit, I will literally take a dumpy down the entire game's throat, and I will never stop. So for now, I can live on the cope that it has a good story.
This dance club, and they had a rival dance club, and they actually bought a billboard somewhere in the...
What is that? Raining nightclub? Summer bash. Oh my god, it's an actual nightclub? In the game? Wait, they made a billboard for an in-game nightclub? Huh?
The US. There's like...
do a very small task and then you come back and it's the same thing.
I'm fairly certain that there's like this dance club, and they had a rival dance club, and they actually bought a billboard somewhere in the US, and they advertised their Final Fantasy XIV club on the highway. So
that is crazy. I believe that if I was driving down the highway and I saw a picture of my Dark Knight's tits, I would go into the median. I would. Straight into it. What? Looking at this, I wouldn't even think that this was Final Fantasy.
I love RPing though. I love RPers in MMOs because it's like watching a story event happen. It's so great, but I have not personally firsthand seen it in Final Fantasy 14. I'm a big fan of it though.
Should do the research to see what happened with the Waffle chair. What the?
I love it.
You haven't been to like a Final Fantasy 14 nightclub at any point?
No, is that similar to, if any World of Warcraft people are out there, a Goldshire Inn?
Dark things, man. Truly some vile shit happens there. I heard a story about a GM appearing to tell them to tone it down one time. The good news is it was very easy to get even on level 1. Create a human on Moonglade and check it out. What the is going on there? People are telling me to check the category for Final Fantasy. Bro, what the is this category, bro? You have a VTuber with also a webcam. You have this cat girl, cat girl, cat girl, cat girl, cat girl, cat girl. What the even is this? What is this? What the is this? What the is this? What? She's not even playing the game. I mean, she do be vibing. It's true. What about this one? What's she doing? She's playing the game. She's playing the game.
I want the number of her dealer.
That's crazy. Who are these people? What the is this game? I just don't. I don't. And why do I want to keep watching it?
We know what to not stream now.
They're dorks? No. The word you're looking for is weeb. Okay? The people watching this are gooning to hentai right now. Not that that's necessarily an uncultured thing to do.
Don't lose.
I was like, well, at least this girl doesn't have a bunch of dancing going on. She is standing.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
Still
How are you doing tonight?
Dancing.
So
talking in the chat, baby.
7.1.
Which is honestly no different than what I do a lot of the time. So me. I don't understand. BDO's just like this, but like has hotter characters. I guess we can't DJ though. Should I DJ? Wait, should I DJ in BDO? We can dance now. Should I make a nightclub in BDO? Wait.
Nightclub Manor in BDO?
So, this person has a penis, right?
Party. I'll feel free to cut this part out, but a Goldshire Inn party in World of Warcraft Classic is when a bunch of RPers get together and basically have fake sex in an inn in one of the starting towns.
Yeah.
What? Bro, what the is everyone doing in these MMOs? What? They're having sex in WoW? Bro, you got triangle ass, torpedo looking Kim Possible titties. What are we talking about? You got rectangles for legs. Like, at least in BDO, it's like, you know, actually hot, you know?
Again, it's not really an MMO to me until much later in the game. I know some people play it like a role-playing thing and whatever. It's probably one of the fairest monetized. It's probably one of the games that has the best free trials. But
people
yeah,
will get their rocks off. Go watch
still
porn,
like an
man.
A to S tier MMO. Because there's so few actual good MMOs. I'd probably go A tier, to be honest.
Really?
Oh, S plus 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 plus.
What?
This guy hangs out at the nightclub. This guy's a tier 3 sub to the streamers we were just looking at. You know it. I know it. We all know it. This dude's a cat girl.
Oh, you read that?
Plus. I saw Peon's messages. They are S++.
Furries can't hurt you though.
Oh, why don't you say that? Well, in that case,
where did I put WoW? I put WoW in A tier. It's got to be next to WoW in A tier.
I'd say it's A tier from what I've experienced.
I put it in B.
But I think that my opinion on Final Fantasy is probably an invalid one because I haven't experienced enough of the game to give like a formulated opinion. It's like I play the game for like maybe 30 hours. That's it.
I'm gonna put them at A tier simply because I don't feel like I can put something at S tier that I haven't played personally.
Seeing as I haven't played the game, this is really tough to do. But
I thank God that
because
these guys
the
also
game is
didn't
so
play it.
Focused on story, I'm gonna go D tier. I haven't played it. I don't know about its systems. I don't know about its anything. All I know is that it's really focused on story, and I don't love that. So D tier.
People are going to be really confused why New World's above this. I'm putting it in D. I actually had more fun with New
I would not put it below New World, not even close.
World than I did with Final Fantasy 14, even though I played Final Fantasy 14 more.
I mean, as much as I don't like having sex with characters in video games, you know, it happens, so...
But that's only because I was told, like, I was in denial playing Final Fantasy 14. I was like, what am I missing? Like, this has to be great, right? Like, I'm missing something.
It is a solid game. I've heard the end-game raid system is pretty solid. The storyline is pretty solid as well. I'm going to put Final Fantasy in the B tier as well.
Despite receiving
I'm good, right? I came out on top in this one.
High praise from several content creators due to some outliers.
I'm not getting canceled until we get to RuneScape. And you guys know what I did to RuneScape.
Really disliking the game, it's led to it being a B tier MMO, which I'm sure the comment section will have something to say about.
This is the one that I always worry about, and I preemptively talk about.
Oh, I'm about to eat.
Like, oh no, I've never played it, so I can't comment because I've never played it.
I'm gonna
I don't want to piss people off.
Yeah, that's dog shit. Yeah, get that out of here.
That is a game where
that's dog shit.
It's a game that people have played. I've heard
you
such
have
things
4090
about it.
graphics cards.
Old school RuneScape's great, man.
Stop! Look at this. You're playing this with a 4090. Move on with your lives. Holy shit!
We talked about it like kind of a lot before.
Look at this combat,
Okay, so you
man.
separate the RuneScapes, but you don't separate the WoWs.
When I went for top 10.
All right.
No. Oh, okay. The best RuneScape. Amazing crafting systems. Top tier world design.
I never played old school RuneScape up until like 4 months ago. I played RuneScape back when it was just RuneScape when I was a child, like way long ago. But from what I remember what RuneScape was and then what RuneScape is now, even old school is a totally different game. And it's just an S tier game.
Worst graphics imaginable.
You have a 4090 in your computer. Stop playing RuneScape.
All right.
So
old school RuneScape
true.
is one of my favorite games of all time. I love old school RuneScape. I love how much the developers interact with the community.
It's a very, 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 very unique game. Like, of all MMOs, I think it is the most unique of the genre.
Is this a replay? I'm consistent.
And for that reason,
okay?
Super not for everyone.
I tell the
But
truth. I'm consistent.
It's one of those games I've admired from afar. Don't think it's a game that I would ever really play that
Dog
much.
shit.
But I get why it's a beloved MMO.
It's one of
dog
those
shit.
games.
It was good in the year 2006. Okay, maybe even 2004, but not 2024.
People religiously swear by. That is a game that. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, did you ever play it as a kid? Because that
Why are
tends to be
90%
what
of
most people
streamers
did.
bald and fat?
I am not tainted by.
Don't make fun of Valen like that. I'm just kidding. I don't know if Valen's bald, but like almost all of us are bald. I don't understand it. I think it's because bald people are just giga chads.
RuneScape nostalgia. I never played it as a kid. I've never installed RuneScape on my PC.
Old school RuneScape is deceptive as a game. There's so much to it. and it does things no other game does, and it does things that don't even really make a ton of sense. It also has one of the best questing systems ever, like the intricacy and how they tell you the story and how you interact with the quests in general.
I love that everything literally has to be voted in by the player base.
The graphics are outdated intentionally.
Oh my god, there are so many better games. Stop playing RuneScape.
But they're outdated, and that's just how it is.
It's like you're grinding it on your Macintosh with dial-up internet. Like, that's when you used to play it.
I love the numbers go up leveling system that seemingly no other game on Earth has really been able to replicate what RuneScape has done. That sort of dopamine where you can chop trees for 6 hours, and for some reason that's
Ma, I'm on the internet. Get off the phone.
Fun.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, stop playing it. There's so many better games that have much better systems. Basically everything on this list, New World included. I don't understand why people keep playing. It's absolutely obnoxious. I hate it.
It's essentially an Excel spreadsheet that's got an overlay of what they like to pretend is a game.
There's so much content that you can play for 2,000 hours, and then people still say you're at mid-game on an Iron Man.
It's actually on my list. I was actually stuck between trying Albion and RuneScape, and I chose Albion.
Part of the reason I hate RuneScape so much is because I see Black Desert. It's just an objectively updated, better version of RuneScape. You know what I'm saying?
Like, oh, what shitty looking game do I want to play that doesn't have graphics? And I was like, I'll go with Albion. But so RuneScape is still on the list.
For a lot of people, it's actually like maintaining bad graphics on purpose. For me and for a lot of old school RuneScape fans, it's maintaining the feel.
Did he put my voice? Wait, did he put my voice in the background?
Graphics on purpose. For me and for a lot of old school RuneScape fans, it's maintaining the feel of the game, which is the important part.
God.
But I can see how for a lot of people, it's like, oh, bad graphics, I'm not interested.
I hate it.
As much as graphics don't matter to me as much, it's a part of a game. It's an important part of a game, and I can see that being a turnoff.
I think it will always, like, if old school RuneScape, because of when it launched, it's going to be the first MMO for a lot of people, and that in itself is going to be hard, very hard to dislodge from your best MMO ever. So I think there's a lot of personal entanglement with any best MMO ever.
Very few other MMOs have that much of a grind and have made that much of a grind something you actually enjoy doing. And the reason is because, especially with old school RuneScape, it's really a second monitor game. If you're playing old school RuneScape, you're probably playing another game or watching a movie or doing your homework or whatever, right? So yeah, when it comes to old school RuneScape, it's easily one of my favorite games I've ever played, and I still play it to this day.
It's just an amazing game. There's not really a ton you can say about it without getting into the weeds, but old school RuneScape's just a fantastically made game and supported and cared for by its community in a way that almost no other game is.
Oh, here we go.
So, where do you want to hear it?
Oh, it's F. F for dog shit. Yeah.
It's just an S tier game. It's just the best.
I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna have to. It needs a B at least. I'm gonna put it A tier. I'm gonna put it in A tier. I think RuneScape, and you know what? Put it S tier. Put RuneScape S tier.
Fuck out it.
If I'm going personal opinion, a B if I'm going technical opinion.
If I swear to God, if RuneScape outperforms BDO on this tier list again, I'm rioting.
It's just old and outdated, and we need to see newer, better things coming out.
God, I'm so tired of that happening.
But the problem is, again, this is a paradox. If I think about newer MMOs, it's all just cash shop, pay to win, spend as much money as possible, and then I look at it.
Isn't just RuneScape like botted out of its mind, and people are literally trying to launder money through the game? What are we talking about?
Anything that's older than that, I'm like, damn, we had it so good. We lived through a golden age.
Okay.
So probably high B tier.
A. I'm almost feeling mean to New World now because like everything's an A and then there's New World.
No. I gave it a partner. It's down there in F.
ESO, yeah, Elder Scrolls is B. And there we go.
F tier. No. Probably S tier. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
It's an S tier for me, man. It's not even close. It'd be right up there with WoW Classic if you were smart enough to separate
What
them.
is
But nope,
wrong
WoW
with
had to
these
be its
people,
own thing,
bro?
Its own big thing. Just for some reason.
I gotta bring the
Although
average
4
down.
content creators
Bro.
ranked old school.
There's no bias here. None. There's no bias on this list. I just say it how it is.
RuneScape as S tier, the sentiment wasn't shared across the board, with even one content creator bringing it all the way down to F tier.
Oh my god, there are so many better games. Stop playing RuneScape.
Controversial, I know, but what this meant was that the overall rank of RuneScape got dragged down to an A tier MMO.
Yes!
Dude, why are the boobs so big in that game? I don't get it.
That's us!
The boobs are huge in that game.
No, I haven't played it in a little while. I haven't played it in probably over a month.
Is,
That's us!
without a doubt, the best free-to-play MMO that is on mobile that I've seen so far.
Still could be us. Still could be us. Still could be us. Still could be us. BDO Mobile.
Can't say
BDO
I
Mobile.
felt super engaged with it. I gotta give it a little bit of leeway given my history because it's technically a Kickstarter MMO.
I really enjoyed Albion Online for about 2 weeks. Because during those 2 weeks, my friends were playing with me, and Albion Online as a cooperative experience is a lot of fun.
Okay, so my background with MMOs is obviously I play basically almost everything at this stage, at least a little bit. Albion Online is a sandbox PvP MMO that I originally covered and backed when it was pre-alpha, like before anyone even really knew what it was. And I think I was one of the first content creators that got a key, even though I had like 10 subscribers on a YouTube channel I never uploaded to.
Albion Online, I think about 90 hours, approaching 90 hours. It don't feel like it. It feels like more than that, though. Not saying 90 hours exactly low. I know in some MMO brains, like, oh, it gets
Better
good at
than
1,000
RuneScape.
hours. Like, oh, you only put 500 hours? You only put 100 hours in? That's not even enough to give an opinion on the game. I think that's just a stupid opinion.
It's such like old school, it's a very unique MMO. I know they had RuneScape influences because it's a very grindy game. It's a real sandbox, like no quests at all. No real like world lore. The game doesn't resonate with me too much.
Albion Online does a lot of things really cool, and there's a reason it's been growing in popularity year on year, and a reason why it's, you know, really successful. But for me,
I would consider playing Albion.
Albion Online
They should pay me to play their game.
is too shallow of a game for what it tries to be for like a hardcore PvPer, purely because it's on mobile. Like they just kind of made a lot of design choices that, at least to me, without knowing the inner workings of their company, kind of limit what it could have been as a PC full loot sandbox PvP game.
Got huge boobs. Oh, yeah, that's like the mobile game, basically. I've heard some really good stuff about Albion. It's not really for me.
There's tons of content for, 2v2, 3v3 sort of small group PvP. And then if you want to join a guild or do something like that, you can always go into the bigger Zerg versus Zerg sort of mass guild
We
on
started
guild
it
PvP.
today, Raphael.
It's got like a wish.com version of the Path of Exile tree. It's got a lot
I don't play Albion, but that was such a perfect analogy. I could tell exactly what he was talking
of
about.
variety, a lot of weapons. They're still working on the game. The devs are pretty cool. I haven't had any interactions with them, but I've seen their interactions with other people, and not just like content creators, and they're pretty decent.
But the problem was, once I was playing by myself, a lot of that fun sort of went away, which is true of any MMO, but I think more so in terms of Albion because of its PvP focus.
But I've heard that the large scale is is really good.
It kind of felt like a lot of the time I was gathering just to be able to gather the next thing, not knowing why I wanted to gather the next thing. Because Albion's very, very tiered.
I heard the large scale was busted.
It's very cleanly tiered, like literally tier 1 and above, and like resources are.
Why'd you ask to be in this video? I didn't ask to be in this video. He asked me, and I was like, dude, I haven't played some of these. He's like, doesn't matter. Neither have they. All of these creators, guys, they also haven't played most of these, and you can hear them say it in their interviews sometimes.
Are tier 1 and above. Items are tier 1 and above. Weapons, all that.
I don't know. I think the thing that always gets me with Albion Online is how they tie you to your gear, and it was always something that just felt a little weird to me. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be like Ultima Online, and it's not. It's just really not. It's an interesting game though for me.
You know, I thought I was gonna play it one time, like, oh well, this is BS, but no, something about it actually drew me in.
I like their hardcore systems. The fact that certain zones, you go into it, you get your ass beat, you get your stuff stolen.
So in general, I think Albion's a well-designed game. I think it merges like PvE players and PvP players pretty well.
You know, I didn't swipe, but yeah, it's pay to win. If you're gonna
Jazzy, I love you. I don't know when we're gonna be able to see each other again, because I'm never gonna be invited to another BDO event again. Seems like the video could have been renamed Expert Opinion to Casual Opinion. There it is.
Gonna play that game, you gotta look past.
Well, he called us experts because we're each experts at one of these games, I think, was the idea. Right? He chose me because I'm supposed to be one of the experts on Black Desert.
That's the fact that, hey, these people bought their currency, or they got this.
And then I still think it's really good because it shows you what the general population thinks about that game. You know what I mean? And I think that's relevant. I'm curious what they said about BDO. Yeah, it's over here.
Subscription to where they're leveling faster than you and this and that. So that kind of sucks.
Very easy as somebody who is an adult.
Could be my
and has a
+1 base
job to just be like, do I want to, you know, grind for 10 hours to buy
get
this
my
like
samurai?
random,
What a unit!
Not even high level set of gear, or do I just spend like $10 and buy it?
I think it's an awesome game. It's an awesome idea. Their crafting system, where basically every item in the game has been crafted by another player, and then when you sell that to the black market, it gets added to the loot pool of monsters in the game. So you kill a monster and you'll get an item that was crafted by another player. It's just super cool. I've never seen that before.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, that's weird.
I am a sucker for Albion Battlegrounds, the arenas. I love it. I freaking love it.
It's the most fun I've had with PvP in any MMO, probably. It's
Are you banned from events now or something? No, I just get the feeling I'm not going to be welcomed there. Also, they didn't invite me to the Perlibus Korea, Calpheon Ball, obviously. But they invited 3 of my subscribers. And they asked me if I wanted to be a +1, which is interesting. Bro, if I pop in at the Calpheon Ball in Korea and I'm just like, hi, Jay. Hi. I think that might go a little hard. I'm not going to lie.
PvP was so much fun. And I'm saying this is not a PvPer. It was really, really, really enjoyable.
Albion is not a game I've played personally, but we're going to put it right next to, again, Elder Scrolls, which is, I just want to remind everyone, barely beating a mobile game.
Let's give Albion, as much as I enjoyed it, I kind of want to put it at C.
Wow. Worse than Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd put it at C. Let's put her at C. Let's put Albion at C.
Albion and ES.
It'll be a one-way go trip. I'm not Johnny Somalia. Okay? I'm not going to show up and be a loot pinata. I'm pretty sure most of the Korean community likes me. I think.
So in B tier.
The game's fun to play, but for me, I couldn't play it long term because it's just...
Holy shit, I show up to the Calpheon Ball and it's just like... Sorry, I have to do this. You show up to the ball. Hi, Jay. You just slide in. Like, oh, God. It would be so good. Oh my god, you come in from off.
Not
Oh
going to
god.
Pantheon Ball
So good,
dressed
bro.
in a blue suit
It
with
feels
Make
shallow
BDO Great
compared to
Again
what I'd
hat
want
on
out
would
of
be
like a full
criminal.
loose sandbox
Oh
game.
god, bro, that shit would be
I would
crazy,
go A tier
bro.
with Albion. It's definitely up there.
Escort it
It's
out.
a really well made game.
I'd probably say right behind OSRS B tier.
I'm telling you, Jay already didn't like me at the last ball. I could tell by his body language when I walked up to him. I walked up to get a picture with him. I was like, hey, Jay, I'm a content creator for your game. I make a lot of content for your game or whatever. And his translator goes, he started translating it, and Jay just goes, okay, all right. And by the way, I just want to remind everybody that at the Heidel Ball, it was Choice by Septimus Prime, Champion Jason, Rambo, Empty Chair, Jae Kim. Can't make this shit up. Can't make this shit up. It was crazy. Only after I asked Jay if he was going to buy the newest Bugatti.
You need to go in a Black Spirit cosplay and remove the cosplay on the scene.
I did. I asked him. True.
Peter, yeah.
Yeah, which is absolutely shocking and disgusting for me to say since it's technically a mobile M.
Albion's a solid B for me. I think there's a lot to like about Albion. It's just not like super my game.
I think I'll go B tier with Albion as well. Looking back on Albion, I had a ton of fun when I played it with friends, but unfortunately, if you don't have friends you're playing with, I think it definitely doesn't hold up too well as a solo experience.
There it is.
Surprisingly, this mobile MMO had a lot
See, a lot of these people have not played a lot of Albion online, and you'll notice where everyone put their opinion.
of the content creators in agreement, and it averaged out to be a B tier MMO.
I have a funny story about Guild Wars 2. I got permanently banned on Guild Wars 2 back in the day because I was duping items, and they perma-banned me and then made me apologize. And then after I apologized, they unbanned my account, and then I got a refund on it and never played it again. But when I did play the game was good.
That's based. Holy shit. That's insanely based. That is crazy. You exploit the game. Right? Blatantly exploiting the game. They ban you. You argue with them nonstop. Get the unban. Immediately refunded to get your money back and give them the finger. That's insane.
Good.
It's a very accessible MMO in a lot of ways. You can jump in, you can enjoy different parts of it.
Oh, Guild Wars 2.
Look at that smile.
Guild Wars 2. I like that game.
Yes. No. Okay, so Guild
See,
Wars 2
he's
I'd
the
say
Guild
is
Wars
a
2
pretty
expert.
polarizing game because it's not a game that's going to be for everyone.
I've been playing a ton of Guild Wars 2 recently. They just had a new expansion come out. I haven't got to that part yet, so I haven't even really delved into the new expansion.
Yeah.
But once again, like I mentioned with ESO, I love horizontal progression, and Guild Wars 2 probably has the single best horizontal progression that exists on the MMO market currently.
Yeah, that is an interesting one because I've hardly played Guild Wars 2, but I played Guild Wars 1 a lot as a kid.
See, a lot of these creators have not played these MMOs. They're just doing their best with what they've got.
Guild Wars 1 was the only other MMO I played a lot of as a kid. And Guild Wars 2 is very different. It's
It
super
shows you
different.
what public opinion looks like for the game.
I recently dipped my toes into Guild Wars 2, and I've really craved playing it. Throne of Liberty came out like right as I kind of started it, which so now I'm like torn, and I really like playing Guild Wars 2. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it, and I'm still only in the early levels.
There's so much content in the game.
Yeah, dude, because I started it, played for like 2 days, and then Throne and Liberty came out, and it's just been nonstop TNL for like the last month and a half. It's rough.
There's so much stuff.
So like, yeah, we're starting to like the hype from TNL's dying down a little bit, so we can do a little bit more Guild Wars
People to do. But it's not a game that's designed for me and how I play games, because the game's always been about collecting transmogs and horizontal progression. and kind of doing stuff for the sake of doing it.
Something about Guild Wars 2 that puzzles me is I feel it deserves more than what it gets. For some reason, it's not like or what I could consider in the space a mainstream MMO. Like, I just feel like it should be more popular than it is. Like, I feel like Guild Wars 2 isn't that household name the way it needs to be.
I like it.
I actually feel the opposite. I actually think that every time I ask somebody, I'm like, so you don't want to play your current MMO. What MMO are you going to go play? I feel like more often than not, the answer really is Guild Wars 2 because people keep coming back to that MMO. I feel like it kind of is a household name.
I know their shop can have some stuff in it. I really hate the key stuff. You get
ArenaNet sucks at marketing. They should sponsor me.
Key.
Then again, I'm already playing it for free, so.
These open up chests and the randomization part of that. Anytime you enter in randomization and monetization, it's kind of, I mean, it's a slot machine to me. But I can only go from my experience, and I spent like nothing on it.
People are either going to pick up the game, enjoy it a lot, keep playing it, start discovering all the systems. It's got low hand holding, and people are gonna then like fall in love with what they think an MMO should be, or people are going to fall into the category of they play the game for a few hours, they just see no appeal to it, they don't understand what they're doing, the story tie-ins are bad, and they kind of
that guy looks badass.
Will say that the leveling process that I've had in the game so far is the best that I've ever had in an MMO, because like they help me explore the world while I'm doing while I'm leveling up. It kind of encourages me to do quests in new areas, and then that's how I explore the world, and then I go back to the main story again, and then we just keep going. So like I'm having a really good time with it.
I think Guild Wars 2 has probably one of my favorite worlds though of a lot of these MMOs. I think World of Warcraft is my favorite world of Warcraft, and Guild Wars 2 is second.
It can take years, to acquire and collect some of the items that you can in that game. And each expansion adds a lot of like lore and new areas, and there's a sense with Guild Wars 2 that I just want to explore the game that I very, very rarely get with any other MMO.
True.
Exploration in Guild Wars 2 feels better.
It's I would say probably the most underrated MMO on this list. I think the right word for Guild Wars 2 is underrated. I don't think it has huge numbers on Twitch unless it's like a new expansion coming out. It's an interesting game. Combat, I think, is good. I like the action cam on that game. Classes feel good. The professions are interesting. A lot of them are locked behind, expansions, which, it's not the craziest thing these days.
Guild Wars is weird because it's called Guild Wars and there's nothing Guild Wars about the game. It's an odd proposition, especially when you compare it to what Guild Wars 1 was and what I thought the game was going to be. But it's a really well-made game. It has a ton of stuff for a ton of people, and apparently they support the story content really well.
Monetization is...
They won't. They only do Care Bear creators. Wait, really? Damn. Yeah, that's not me, bro. You got the wrong guy.
Fair. I think I had one critique in my video, which people ripped me apart for, but I still stand by it.
I put it in the A tier.
Inventory space feels a little crappy in Guild Wars 2, and you can purchase more.
That's actually true. I immediately ran into the Guild War or the inventory problem.
They definitely make it feel like you should purchase more. That was one of my main complaints, but the in-game shop and stuff, it's not too excessive. There's not too much pay to win.
It's a very like even keel game. There's not a lot that I don't like about it. There's not a lot that I love about it. When I think back to anything that stands out, I'm like, does the combat stand out? No, it doesn't stand out as being bad either. It's just like, it's very, very solid. So like when I think of Guild Wars 2, I just think solid, like solid game.
He's gonna put it in the B tier.
Not my favorite. Don't hate it.
He's gonna put it in the B tier.
So as much as I personally enjoy it, I would still say it's not an S tier MMO. It's an A tier. At most.
Yeah, I'd put it in A tier.
I don't have a bunch of experience with like the last
I
10
put it
years
in
of the
A, bro.
game, so
Fuck
it's
it.
hard to really say. I'd say from when I played and just knowing how well made the game is, it's definitely like an A tier MMO though.
It's a super middle of the road game for me. Like, I don't think Guild Wars 2 is that special. I don't think it's that bad.
Like, it's okay if your combat is not as good if the world PvP is just that good. You know what I mean? If you have that many people to play with and you're having that good of a time, the combat matters less, in my opinion.
TNL's the
It's an A.
same way. There it
Low
is.
B, the lowest in B.
I want to give it a C, but I want to give it a B. Let's give Guild Wars 2 a good B tier. Let's give it a good B tier. It has potential.
Pussy.
Well, what do you think of Guild Wars 2? Because, like, whenever I hear people talk about it, they almost, like, even if they have different levels of enthusiasm, I'm like, you're saying the same stuff.
Guys, BDO's up next. What does everybody think BDO is going to be rated in? What do you think the final rating for BDO is? I think it's going to be... I think it might be C, guys. I think that they're going to put it in C. I tried to carry us with an S tier. I'm pretty sure they're going to put us in C tier, bros. Like,
Me, the game's, like, solid. It's a solid game. Like,
we're cooked.
Good job.
Base game, it's definitely a little bit, compared to the expansions, it's like night and day in terms of content. So I'm going to go A tier. Could definitely be an S tier, and it's almost there. It's top of the A tier, but not quite.
So it seemed that everyone is in agreement that Guild Wars 2 is okay. It's fine, just nothing too...
I love how okay, fine is an A tier in the MMO space. It's
special, not S tier anyway. So it averages out as a tier MMO, which arguably is pretty good for a okay game.
Very good.
I played a very limited amount. I hated it. I hated that game so
Not off to a great start. Yeah, not really off to a great start here.
so much. Jesus Christ. Like, if you took everything I could dislike about an MMO and boiled it down into one game, it would be that.
It's an MMO that felt painful for me to get B-roll for. I tried it. I tried to like it. I was like, oh, I mean, it's got this crazy combat system, right? It's a beautiful game, and I do not like that game.
Guys, the most fun game you've ever played for a week, and then it's the most boring game to ever go back into.
Black Desert Online, I have not played. I have not even played 10 hours like you did. But
10 minutes.
Something about that game, it looks like the best combat that I haven't played, if that makes sense.
This will be a spicy one. I think Black Desert Online, I'm going to immediately just say it's an A tier. For personal preference and how I play games, I'd probably put it as an S, just because I love South Korean MMOs.
There it is! W's, boys! Farming wins. I never doubted us.
I know.
Sure, the rest of them will be F, but you know what? That averages is a C. The average is C's get degrees, guys.
Most people hate them, but I grew up playing like Chinese and South Korean MMOs, and I love grinding in games.
I'm just gonna say this: Black Desert.
Stop. Why did you put that in the background? Why, dude? Why, dude? Like, I'm gonna make a follow-up video. This haunt me forever. I'm gonna frame it.
Desert's current state of the game and the systems that they have it in a really, really, really bad spot. Like they've ruined PvP
And
in
now
the
we are
game. There
fucked.
doesn't really feel like a reason to progress anymore. And the PvE has been really low effort dog shit lately. The developers don't seem to want to listen to anybody, and pretty much everybody is upset with the game.
Just don't.
Now, that being said, it is best in genre combat. You just don't have anything to use the combat on anymore. But back in the day, and my experience with BDO, the combat is incredible.
What's he doing?
Sorry, that was my wife just phoning me to tell me how shit Black Desert Online is.
so brutal. That's so brutal, guys.
Black Desert Online, that game's all about the tits. Man, it's such. Fantastic graphics. I just wish the game, every time I opened it, it didn't convert to thinking I'm Turkish. That's all.
It just never.
Wait, what?
Never appealed to me. Like, even when I was playing on console and it was really the only other MMO.
No. 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 You played it on console. Console is ruining our game.
MMO option besides the Elder Scrolls Online. I just didn't want to play it. I think a lot of the pay to win stuff I heard about scared me away.
The biggest problem with Black Desert Online is the monetization is tied into every single aspect of the game. And
it is not. Okay? You can enhance your Manos writing crop. Well, you can use crons on that too. The adventure log in the bottom left of your inventory is technically not pay to winnable.
And everything's designed to just be worse until you spend money to buy some like random stupid account upgrade for like $30.
Okay, so this is somebody that played in 2016, hated it, and then never came back again.
And because there's so many systems in the game,
fuck Cacao Games.
To have an account that's efficient at doing things, you need to have spent like $1,000 to $2,000 or something stupid like that.
That's not true. I've only spent $7,000.
And I'm going to make people mad with this because I really had a really positive review of the game when I first played it. However, every time I've tried to go back and play it again, I enjoy it less and less. It's a little bit too bloated with items and currencies and information that is required before you even understand what's happening. Like, I just feel overwhelmed every time I play the game. And maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe I'm an idiot, but every time I go back to it, I don't know what's in my inventory. I don't know what my character's wearing. It's a really tough game to get back into.
Super grindy.
That's weird. Most people say it's a good game or it's an easy game to get back into. You know what I mean? You just pick it back up. I'd say it's one of the best games I've ever played in terms of a game I can set down for a year or for an extended period of time and then pick it up and then just like riding a bike. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Super monetized, super PvP focused.
It's a great game in terms of outfits, graphics, combat. It strikes all the matches, and then like it's got the, in my opinion, best in genre professions. So like life skill wise,
some of the systems are good, and some of the systems are miserable. So like the way that the main story quest line kind of railroads you away from actually exploring the world is pretty miserable. I'd say the character design is.
What is that? What the are they doing over in the Final Fantasy category, bro? What in the hell is going on?
Fantastic.
They have daily stuff that you have to do. They have login bonuses. Basically, all the stuff I don't like in MMOs exists in BDO, and that's and then like a grind that doesn't feel rewarding.
It's just because I keep making new characters for the fantastic physics of the game. It's real easy. Once you get used to playing with one hand, it's not a bad game.
Isn't he the same guy that said if you can get past the carpal tunnel of the load screen character creator or of the character creator, you're going to have a great time with BDO? You're gooning it though.
The world's beautiful. The game engine is a little bit old. The game feels a little bit janky in places. It has a really cool, I think, overplayed combat system. I think a lot of people say it's the best combat system in MMOs, but I don't think that's the case. It's fluid.
Was he the guy that said that New World was the best, or was he the guy that said that World of Warcraft had the best combat? He said one of them, and that's wild.
It's fun, it's cool, but the AI system in the game, the lack of PvE in the game.
AI.
I think around the time that I was going to try Black Desert Online is when your video came out and you did your...
Yeah, so he said WoW. Yeah, he said WoW was the best combat. And to be clear, Asmon said that too. These people have not played the game. I don't understand it.
Your review, and then I saw the
lack of PvE in the game.
I think around the time that I was going to try Black Desert Online is when your video came out and you did your review, and then I saw the responses. Yeah, that the first impressions from that community, I was like, yeah, let's avoid that one.
Hey, wait, what the Yo, nobody gives me any credit for this. Nobody gives me any. I love how the whole community got a bad rep because this dude spent 10 minutes playing the game, did a review, Pansy and Fake Cutie and everybody else railed him for it. They're all like, Blue, you gotta watch this, you're gonna rip him up. You gotta watch this, you're gonna rip him up. And then I watched it and I was like, well, I don't think he was actually that wrong. You know, and then Pansy ended up taking his video down, and then Fake was like, yeah, okay, that's fair. And I tried to turn it, but like, dude, the dude, almost, like, Sawman got almost run out of town for his review of BDO months ago. Almost got run down. It made the whole community look miserable. And this demonstrates it to you. This demonstrates it to you. And I was the only one that was like, I don't know. I felt like he had some based takes, even though he only played for 10 minutes. I felt like, you know, most of his analysis was reasonably spot on. You know, like, felt like he kind of nailed it.
And so, yeah.
So what do you think of the community? What vibe do they give?
Passionate. Just passionate.
I will take that. We will take that. We'll take that. We are passionate players. Passionate players that are no longer partners because we're passionate players.
I think that's the best word. I think that's the best word.
The systems are great, well developed. Yeah, they could use an update, but like, let's be honest, you compare them to any of these other MMOs on this list, it's not even close. So like, that being said, my experience with Black Desert is going to have me put it in the S tier, even though I'm really upset with the game right now.
See? I S tier.
I don't even know what else to say. F. I hate that game. I hate that game.
Okay, so we're averaging at a C. Okay, we're at a C right now. All right, I carried us through that bad review. Okay, I got us through it. All right.
Game a lot. I actually don't get why it's so popular. Like, I guess it's not that like super popular, but like it has a decent.
It is super popular. F you. We're taking that win. You said it, not us.
Size player base, and I don't get it. I cannot understand that game's grasp on people.
He's mad. He's mad, right, guys? He's just you're pissed. Yeah, you're pissed because we're having fun.
It does look like fun, thrilling combat, and I think that's what's carried it this long. I'm gonna give Black Desert Online. I think it takes a hit because of the monetization. I'm stuck between B and C. I'm gonna settle on C.
I'd go A. I'll split the difference. I'll say an A.
Didn't he just say that the combat was overrated and like he just dumped on the whole game? You know what? I'm taking the A, bro. I'm
gonna have to go D tier.
Son of a bitch!
You know, once upon a time, maybe when I had first played the game, I would have said C or B tier. Even I was really impressed the first time I played it and was introduced to the world.
Damn it, bro! I thought we were headed uphill on this shit.
But you know, trying to go back to it a few different times. Yeah, D tier.
So D tier for I don't know.
Isn't this the guy that play? What does he play again? He plays like Terra or whatever. What are we talking about? Our ESO?
I know that like I was supposed to wait for that question, but it's a visceral reaction for me for that game.
Graphics are S tier. Some of the mechanics and systems and the questing is D tier. Monetization is ultra predatory. So
Like Dr. Disrespect in the bushes outside of TwitchCon predatory. True.
I'm gonna lean towards C tier.
In terms of funness to play, I would put Black Desert in the D tier, unironically, right now. Like this is where it's at. Like I would put it in the D tier in terms of like where it's at in the state of the game and whether or not I want to play it right now. D for done. D for dog shit. But if we're talking about my old experiences in the game, I would put it in the S tier.
So overall, Black Desert Online.
Yeah, I told him to put it in the S tier. We're good. See? We're good. I carried us through. This should be a C. This should be a C.
Was harshly criticized, with getting mostly negative points put against it, which on average put as a C tier.
Let's go, baby. We're still losing to RuneScape, but we are technically better than New World. Woo!
MMO. But hey, at least it's doing better than New World. So there's only 8 MMOs here, and I'm looking at the top 10. And the reason for that is because there's loads of fringe MMOs like Lost Ark.
I love how he called Lost Ark a fringe MMO, and you could see that the question, like, wait, fringe? Wait, Lost Ark's more popular than BDO is. What are we talking? It's got more players than like BDO and Guild Wars put together, bro.
Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Now those two are fringe.
How is Lost Ark a fringe MMO?
Well, numbers are a bit skewed because of bots and stuff. So
fair, but it's still got a lot of players.
Or I'll let you pick one to add to the list. So any game whatsoever to add to the list. It doesn't necessarily have to be one that you enjoy. It could be one that you want to shit on and make.
Look at the thumbnail they used for BDO. That's crazy.
New World.
So RuneScape 3, I will put in F tier.
Here's a fun one.
Lost Ark deserves to be on this list. It's not even a question. Lost Ark absolutely deserves to be on this list.
See, I did my due diligence, and then I took it off for Throne and Liberty.
Where though is a question. I'm gonna put it. Okay, combat.
Did you just what? What the? I'm downvoting the video
because again, I rate things off of kind of combat and graphics. Am I allowed to put one more on this list?
No.
But Throne and Liberty has to be on here. It just came out.
Throne of Liberty is it's relevant because it's new.
Yeah.
This is an interesting title. I don't get that MMO feel. Like it's massive, like it's huge battles, and may I say, it is the best performing MMO I've seen or played. Like the amount of people that can be on screen, the amount of people that can be in
That's what I said, bro.
Town without you lagging, it needs to be studied. People need to study that. Like it is insane how good their performance is.
Well, I take it back then. We're taking Lost Ark off the list. Those losers anyway, nobody cares. We're gonna put.
I need to just stop talking sometimes because I garnered good faith with the Lost Ark community by putting them on the list, and then I immediately shoved them into the ground. I immediately ran them down.
We're gonna put Throne and Liberty in the A tier, below or above Guild Wars 2.
Throne of Liberty is a puzzling.
Above Guild Wars 2, but below Black Desert.
What? I think the tab target combat's okay. It's no World of Warcraft, but it's good combat. Very fun combat, I'd even say. Throne and Liberty. Let's put her. I don't want no one to hate me because a lot of people still jaded by that new game experience. I'm stuck between C and D.
Oh my
I think that's a lot of potential though. I'm gonna put it at C.
Okay, well, you want to know how cynical I am? I don't think currently there is the existence of an actual S tier MMO. I don't think in the modern day we have an actual S tier MMO. We don't have one that's got the community behind it. We don't have one that people lose their minds over and lose their entire livelihood to. I
don't know. He used to be describing Black Desert, right?
I think that it doesn't exist currently.
EverQuest to me is an S tier MMO specifically because it is
no way that this put BDO in the D tier and then comes to rave to us about EverQuest. You have got to be shitting me. It's basically Walmart RuneScape. I don't understand. Stop playing this shit.
It was the blueprint for the dungeon type MMO. So when World of Warcraft came in, it was like, here, we're gonna do all these big dungeons. And
guys, EverQuest didn't even come out in the 2000s. This is a 1999 release title that we're putting in the fucking S tier.
Stuff, whether the instance or not. The blueprint came from EverQuest.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say Darkfall because again, nobody ever played the game. Darkfall had two versions. It was originally Darkfall Online, then they made Darkfall Unholy Wars. I think Darkfall Online was the better version of the game, but Unholy Wars was cool as well. You can't play it anymore. They shut down. It's gone. It's dead, and probably will never be alive. I think one company is still doing like a licensed version called Rise of Aegon or something, but the people running that are incompetent and it sucks. And it's not even really. It doesn't even feel like what it originally was.
I thought I was watching footage from Ashes of Creation. Just being honest.
The reason I'm going to do that is because Darkfall Online was so far ahead of its time for what it was, even technologically, that it just deserves to be remembered, and almost nobody does remember this game.
Yes, you had dungeons in Ultima Online as well, but it was an EverQuest specific thing to have these raid bosses and all this stuff, and it's just the blueprint of so much, and it's also one of the games that is the closest tied to the tabletop of Dungeons and Dragons.
If it came out 10 years later.
No. If we're gonna try to get a Dungeons and Dragons game, it's Divinity Original Sin 2 or Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, but like you can't really have a D&D tabletop simulator in an MMO.
It would probably have been appreciated way more than what it was. There was naval combat. It was a massive, huge open world with no load screens where you could have thousands of people in a battle at any time with sieges and dynamic like destruction of buildings. And
I feel much better about where I placed my MMOs, knowing that this shit was the baseline.
Team play, and the game was just the ideal playing with other people game.
It's a game that has withstood the test of time.
Aren't the servers shut down?
Largely because it focuses on a very simple gameplay loop that has been completely abandoned by MMORPGs. It's kind of the simple go out and grind mobs.
Oh, EverQuest. I thought they were still talking about the whatever, the dark whatever. I've already forgotten the name. EverQuest was made in 1999. We have to let go.
And work with friends and take on challenges and explore the world, and it has some of the best and deepest lore of any MMO I've ever played.
It was an insanely intricate game, so yeah, that is an S tier for me and always will be, but the game was probably an objective F tier for what the game had in it. It was a fantastic.
It's an S tier for me, but it was an F tier game. That was garbage.
I am 23 and EverQuest is 2 years older than me. Please let that game die.
Oh my god, I have viewers that are older than RuneScape. Or that are younger than RuneScape. Oh, dude, hold on. When did RuneScape come out? Oh my God. How many of you were born after January of 2001? Oh, there's only like 2 of them. We're good. 1989. Yeah, most of I'm 22. Okay. 99 here. Okay, so we only have a few. And the ones that were born after 2001 need to go get back on TikTok and go to bed.
Here's a really fun MMO that I can throw in there that I don't know if anyone else has mentioned. They probably have. It's a popular one. Warframe.
That's not an MMO. I don't consider Warframe an MMO.
Very different MMO for like its setting and how it plays. It's like a very like fast-paced, combat-focused one.
I felt like Warframe competed more with Destiny than it did with anything else, right?
I really dislike Warframe. I really don't like it.
Star Citizen.
Why would you pick a game that you don't like? Why would you pick a game? He's like, you can put one game on this list that wasn't on this list. He's like, oh, I'm gonna pick this dog shit. Hold on.
Is 100% a D tier MMO, right?
Do you think this is good for New World?
It's D tier, but you spent $1,000 on it, so you're gonna put it in the A tier. Go ahead, say it.
Yes. It's got more content. Star Citizen is a D tier MMO. It is not an F tier MMO because, as much as people like to say it, it is not an outright scam. There is a playable product.
What are we talking about? This is crazy. You know, in 20 years, we're going to have people talk about Ashes of Creation when Beta 3 rolls around and they release their 5th biome. They're going to be saying the same thing.
Product. It's just not a complete playable product, and it probably never will be.
In fairness, Star Citizen looks better than Ashes does.
A playable product.
I really, really dislike Warframe. It's like the missions in the game, which are like kind of like a big core of the game, are so goddamn repetitive. And like grinding is often used as a singular term. Like, oh, grinding's bad. Oh, I like grinding games. Grinding is not one thing. Grinding is not done one way. It is not this behemoth thing.
Do you go in? How do you like to do your grinding? I like to, go this way. And then, usually I come around like this. And then I bring it like this. But there's like a lot of different ways that you can make the circle. He's not wrong.
Grinding it comes in many shapes and forms, and the grinding in Warframe is slow and boring. And a lot of the times, this is going to sound so weird to say given I just praised old school RuneScape so much. It's just grinding for grinding's sake in that game.
What the are we talking about? Dude, S-tiered old school RuneScape.
And I understand how stupid that sounds, and if there's Warframe fans who heard me praise old school RuneScape, they'll be like, what the
I think Warframe's a great game. I should try to play it.
fuck? Like that.
I played it for like 5 hours, really liked it, didn't play it again. Don't know why.
RuneScape is just grinding to get to more grinding. It feels better in that game. I don't know how else to say it. Also, in Warframe, you need to be paying full attention all the time with the grinding, so it just feels extra bad. That said, low D, it's better than Black Desert Online.
Oh! What are we talking about? My God! Bro, this guy is unhinged, dude.
but I harbor a deep resentment for what happened to that game after I started playing. I think the release of Necromancy, the constant monetization decisions, the one step forward, two step back sort of situation that happens with the moderators, where they basically put a carrot on a stick out for the fan base. Here's this awesome content that's going to come out, but we won't.
Which MMO is this?
Tell you about all this bad stuff that's going to happen right after. I don't know if you heard about it. There was a big debacle last year called the Hero Pass situation. It was
RuneScape's worse than BDO. We got it.
It was basically a battle pass that they added to the game, which had some pay to win elements. Like you could take on the hardest content in the game easier because pay to win elements. Like you could take on the hardest content in the game.
Hey mom, can we have Grana? No, honey, we have Grana at home.
50% more damage with some abilities and stuff. So it's just completely against the community. It's not what anybody wanted. And they actually labeled that in their roadmap as a major update. So everyone was really excited for this major update that we had been hearing about for a long time. And it turned out the major update was a battle pass. You see, I don't actually think RuneScape 3 is like objectively one of the worst MMOs. I've probably played worse ones, but the sort of
Please don't say Black Desert.
Update cadence that happens with the game leads to such a lack of disrespect from developers to players that it's like they're on two different planets. Like
that's how we feel.
The developers have no idea what the players want, and the players don't communicate well enough to the developers what they want.
Star Citizen's big issue is they've taken an infinite amount of money. They're still stealing money from people. They're still
Aloe said it's not a scam. It's not a scam. They're still stealing money from people, but it's not a scam because they stole money from me.
Making you buy random ships and stuff off the store that don't exist in the game. It's never leaving alpha. I'll probably be dead before that game's completed. Assuming I live a natural lifespan and don't die of cardiac arrest at some point. Its biggest issue is they are spending so much time dealing with scope creep that they're not actually making something functional. And the most terrifying thing is I work in crypto, and so I investigate into a bunch of games that work in the whole garbage metaverse space where everyone's trying to give their pitch to a bunch of venture capitalists to do.
I'm going to be honest. I get a request to be sponsored by crypto, Bitcoin shit every single week. Every week I get 1 to 2 requests from some crypto gambling bullshit or to promote some new coin, and they offer a tremendous amount of money. And I'm like, dude, it's not worth it. This shit's crazy. Like this shit's insane.
Just try and extract as much money out of them as possible. And it doesn't play like an MMO.
They're always a scam. They are always a scam, yeah.
So much as it does a metaverse world that's tied to crypto. And I wouldn't be shocked within the next 2 to 3 years if it's ultimately fully tied to cryptocurrency in so one way or another.
So there you have it, the ultimate MMO tier list from Sub.
Wait, where did he put it? Star Citizen D tier. Okay, guys, so we are technically better than RuneScape. We just won't specify which one.
I am working in crypto, and I can assure you never accept a sponsorship from crypto game. All of them are dog shit or scam or casino.
What do you mean you work in crypto? What the f does that even mean? Do you scam people all day? Do you just tell which scams to invest in and which scams not to invest in? How the f does that work? Because the other guy said that too. I work in crypto too. What the f? Are all my viewers scammers?
Of your favorite content creators. Is it what you expected?
Cat, what do you think?
Hold on, I'll show you guys the whole. There you go. That's the whole tier list right there. Darkfall, the game whose servers were shut down, was put in the S tier. EverQuest that was made in 1999 is in the S tier. This list, man, I feel like the outro for this video is just like I mean, God, like, I barely got BDO. BDO, I think, is kind of where it probably should be if you're not taking a biased take on the game, right? I think BDO is kind of right where it needs to be, right? I don't know how Throne and Liberty... Oh, God.
Is it what you expected?
Cat, what do you think about this tier list? Yeah, RuneScape 3's in the bottom because of me.
This is why Mom doesn't love you.
Yeah. EverQuest in the top, I know, isn't it impressive? OG EverQuest. It's a good list.
I swear, if freaking EverQuest is anywhere like on the bottom of this tier list, I am sending a cease and desist to this damn.
Okay, but like, seriously though, what drugs is this guy on? Because they're good. You know this shit has to basically hit. You know what I mean?
British dog. Well, shit. Starting out strong with the RuneScape at F. Warframe, okay. New World, Star Citizen, sure. D. What the hell? Okay, Elder Scrolls Online is a C? That's Black Desert Online, Throne and Liberty. Wait, Throne and Liberty okay. Okay, okay, we got World of Warcraft, we got old school RuneScape. This is all okay. This is so far we're good.
Because you're the only one that voted!
Yes, you mother...
Lost Ark didn't even make the tier list. We still took a W, boys. We still took this dub.
I don't know how much I can cuss on this channel. No, but yes. Probably because I was only a vote. But still, it counts.
All right, let's see where this MMO tier list actually ended up as. I'm excited to see this, Sawman. What the f is a Darkfall?
There it is. There it is.
Let's take a look at what the other MMORPG experts, not my cat, apparently she's got something to say about this. Let's see what the other experts had to say about the MMORPG tier list. EverQuest at S rank. What the f? Is this a tier list for boomers? What the f?
This shit's crazy. This shit is insane.
Oi.
The tier list looked pretty good until we all got to put a game in there where we wanted to, and then it all fell apart. And I feel like Sawman did this to deliberately drive us against each other.
Don't say that. That's not true. That's not true. Oh, I must... Are you having a laugh as well?
It's true, though. It do be true, though. Yeah, honestly, Lost Ark might be happy not to be on the list. That's where we're at with the list.
Because I don't want to hear it.
Darkfall S tier, forever cemented as an S tier MMO that nobody else has ever heard of. Got him on that one. World of Warcraft, Old School RuneScape, Guild Wars 2 at A rank, all perfectly reasonable. B rank, Final Fantasy 14, Albion, Throne and Liberty. Feels kind of dirty, to be honest, to put Throne and Liberty with those other two games, but it is what it is. Recency bias, we all got it.
What the are we talking about? We're comparing Throne and Liberty to a mobile game and then the cat girl fappening. This shit's wild.
Elder Scrolls Online at C rank. I'm gonna have to bump that one a few down for me, but I understand that some people have very poor taste in games. Black Desert Online, C rank again. I don't even disagree with this, even though I said in mine, Black Desert.
Isn't this the This is the guy that put Darkfall as S tier, right? And he said World of Warcraft was best in genre combat. And then he put BDO in the F tier.
Online would be high, but it's because I have a bias towards Korean grinders. New World D.
Oh wait, no, he was the Black Desert A tier. Yeah. He's the Black Desert A tier. We're good.
I think I did New World dirty on this one, to be honest, a little bit.
No, we didn't.
Because the game does have some good things going for it, but at the same time, the game is also, at least the
New World is literally barely better than a scam.
old version. Who knows about the new one? I can't really say. At least the old version just had literally no content, so there was not even really a game there to rank above anything like a D. Star Citizen.
What's the point in putting an MMO on that no one plays anymore? Rage bait. That's the reason.
Is in D. Game doesn't exist. Should have been an F. Warframe. Not really an MMO. It is what it is. RuneScape 3. Dog shit. Good list.
But that's not me. That's not me. That is not me. Do not.
Darkfall in S tier. Ugh, I bet you kiss girls in your spare time, you fat.
A massive thank
Oh, what? Holy shit, bro. Oh.
Thank you for watching, and if you got this far in the video, you are a star. I want to give a shout out to all the content creators who took part today. And obviously, if you want to see more content like this, let me know in the comment section below, or maybe leave a like so that I know if you want to see more collaborations. But with that, I'm going to end the video there, and I'll see you in the next.
Holy shit. What a ride of a list that just was.